Thank you for returning to the Everlasting Culture channel. We will discuss the history and cultural customs of New Zealand today. In order for others to learn more about this culture, don't forget to share this video and subscribe to the channel beforehand. Now, let's get started. Native Maori culture coexists with colonial British and other cultural influences in New Zealand. The first people to settle in the nation brought Polynesian customs and language with them, and throughout the centuries of isolation, they created their own Maori and Moriori civilizations. English language and Western religious customs were introduced to the native population by British colonists in the 19th century, who also had a profound impact on them. A distinct Pakeha, or European culture unique to New Zealand, developed throughout time. The Pacific, East Asia, and South Asia have seen an increase in immigration recently, contributing to New Zealand's increased cultural variety. New Zealand is still largely influenced by Western culture, with a particular emphasis on democracy and egalitarianism. With continuous attempts to respect and honour the Maori language and Maori traditions, Maori culture remains an integral aspect of the national identity. According to data from the Ministry for Culture and Heritage, the creative and artistic sector contributed 14.9 billion to New Zealand's GDP for the year ending March 2022. This is 4.2% of the country's total GDP and is the largest amount since records have been kept in 2000. 115,000 persons work mostly in the creative sector as of March 2022, 32% self-employed. The islands were reached by explorers between 1250 and 1300. Maori culture evolved from its Polynesian roots during the subsequent centuries of Polynesian expansion and settlement. The Maori divided themselves into several tribes, constructed fortified settlements, PA, went hunting and fishing, traded goods, advanced agriculture, the arts and weaponry, and preserved an extensive oral history. A group of Maori eventually moved to Rikohu, which is now the Chatham Islands, and there they formed the distinctive Moriori culture. Beginning in 1800, there was regular interaction with Europe, and British immigration increased quickly, particularly after 1855. The introduction of Christianity, sophisticated technology, the English language, arithmetic and literacy by European colonists had a profound impact on the Maori people. The Treaty of Waitangi, which was signed by Maori leaders in 1840, was meant to allow the tribes to coexist peacefully with the colonists. But following a number of instances, the New Zealand Wars began in 1845, and Maori lost a great deal of their land, mostly through widespread and comprehensive land sales, but also through confiscation. The majority of Maori chose to live apart from settlers and kept speaking and writing in Te Reo Maori, allowing them to maintain their identity. Between 1850 and 1930, the number of indigenous people decreased, turning into a minority due to a high death rate among Maori, large migration from Europe, and a short life expectancy for Maori women. Pakeha started delving further into their own customs in the 1980s, and asserting that New Zealanders had a distinct culture that was neither Maori nor British. Interest was shown in Kiwiana, things from New Zealand's past that are thought to embody distinctive Kiwi characteristics like the pineapple, power shell ashtray, buzzy bee, and Pohutukawa, New Zealand Christmas tree. In many regions of New Zealand, ethnic communities have managed to preserve aspects of their own cultures and have even gained popularity among the wider populace. The nation was formed by settlers from a variety of cultural backgrounds, many of whom were centred in certain regions. These included Danes in inland Hawke's Bay, southern Chinese and Levantine settlers in Otago, and Dalmatian settlers in Northland. These contributed to a wider scale Pakeha settlement, which was itself divided among English, Irish and Scottish settlers, e.g. in Canterbury, Otago and Southland, among others. Waves of immigrants from various ethnic backgrounds have been coming to the nation from the mid-1900s. Among them were Dutch and Central Europeans in the 1950s, Pacific Islanders from the 1960s, and Northern Chinese Indians and Southeast Asians from the 1980s. Different facets of each culture have enriched New Zealand culture. South Auckland has strong Samoan cultural ties and Chinese New Year is observed, particularly in Auckland and Dunedin. The Auckland region holds a number of Pacific Island festivals in honour of its various Pacific cultures. Two of the most notable ones are Pacifica, a festival that honours Pacific Island heritage via traditional food, music, dance and entertainment, and Polifest, which features performances by secondary school ethnic organisations in the Auckland region. Originating in the Pacific Island community of New Zealand, the popular music style known as Urban Pacifica has grown to become a significant aspect of the country's musical heritage. The annual Pacific Music Awards honour the musical genres and performers from Pacific Islands who have contributed to New Zealand music. A significant portion of New Zealand's fine art also honours the heritage of Pacific Islands. Well-known artists like Fatu Feo, Lily Leiter, John Paul, Yuki Keihara and Michelle Tuffery have all been greatly impacted by their Pacific Island upbringing. There are 3 official languages in New Zealand. The principal official language, English, is widely used without restriction. According to their individual statutes, Maori and New Zealand Sign Language are also recognised as official languages in specific situations. In New Zealand, there are also other languages spoken. With its origins in British Sign Language, BSL, New Zealand Sign Language, BANZSL, might be regarded as a dialect of British, Australian and New Zealand Sign Language. Compared to 33% of NZSL signs in American Sign Language, there are 62.5% more similarities between British Sign Language and NZSL. It was created by and for deaf people, just like other natural sign languages. It has no linguistic ties to spoken or written languages and may represent anything a fluent signer wishes to say. Compared to BSL, it employs more lip patterns together with hand and facial movements to cue signal, which is consistent with New Zealand's oralist tradition of teaching deaf people. Its vocabulary includes Maori concepts such as marae and tangi, and signs for New Zealand place names. New Zealand Sign Language became an official language of New Zealand in April 2006. About 20,000 people use New Zealand Sign Language. There's a lot to talk about, but in other not to this long, I would end it here. And I hope the little I talked about today makes you have some knowledge about their culture and history. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.